Welcome back to a new video. So I tried to do this workout actually last night, but I felt kind of crummy. I wasn't really motivated, and it was kind of late at night. And so I just didn't even attempt it and just came back this morning. So today I have conferences later. This, I guess, start technically at the end of this morning at 11:30 and go until 7:30 tonight. So it's like 9 o'clock out here in the morning, which has its benefits and its negatives. I mean, obviously, for one, I'm still going to be able to train today because I can come out here. I don't have to drive an hour total and try to get to the actual gym super early because it is just warm enough. And when you train in the morning, it warms up as you're training. It's not going to get colder out here. That's one of the biggest negatives in the colder months when you train outside in the evenings is the temperature will only go down. But out here, if anything, the temperature is going to go up outside. It's already gone up 2 degrees, which isn't significant, but I mean, it isn't dropping. I think it's like 36, but we're going to try to get the workout done. I feel a lot better this morning, which is good. And yesterday, I was just kind of like cold, but like not just the temperature cold, but like cold like when you're sick. So I don't know if I still had a bit of a fever, but I took less cold medicine this morning, and I feel better than I did yesterday at this time in the morning. So I think I'm definitely getting past it. I also took a lot more caffeine this morning. That's another benefit of training in the morning, which I never utilize because obviously I work in the mornings most weeks. And on the weekends, it's kind of, I don't really ever want to get to the gym that early. But if you train early, like 9 a.m., you could basically take as much caffeine as you want. Obviously, you know, there's an upper limit where it's safe, but like you're not worried about sleeping later tonight if you take a bunch of caffeine at 9 o'clock in the morning because it's all going to be out of your system. Versus if you took it at, say, 4 or 5 o'clock at night, which is when I typically take it. So I usually don't take like I take as little as I can during the weeks, you know, around 200, unless it's like a super heavy session that I might take more, but that's typically on like Fridays and Saturdays when the time where I have to go to bed isn't as important. But I've taken, I think about 500, which is all the caffeine I've had today. I didn't drink any coffee or anything, so I don't have that on top of it. So probably the only caffeine I have today. I might, if they have coffee at work, sip on that a little bit just because I enjoy it. But I certainly won't be training when I get back home at 7:30 tonight because it will be too cold out here and I'll already have my session done. But the training session I have today, and I guess that's another reason I didn't mind pushing it to today, is if I get my training done today, I can combine my next 2 sessions because they're not difficult ones or they're logical to put together. So today's session, snatch doubles at 90, front squats for sets of 5, which they say 128, but I'll probably drop that down so I can actually do sets of 5 comfortably without worrying about my back, which honestly feels pretty decent now, especially being in the morning. I'm pretty surprised. Clean pulls and push presses. So theoretically, I should be able to get through it pretty quick. The snatches will probably take I guess snatches and the front squats will take the longest, but everything else should go pretty quick. But my next 2 sessions are like no foot snatches and hand clean and jerks. And then the day after that it's like bottom up front squats or some sort of squat and a pull. So really those 2 separate days of exercises, I'm going to put them together and just make one longer session so I'm not falling behind. But it's one of those things that like if I had to take out a session, it's not the end of the world because I am sick. There is a reason for it. Just like if you're injured, like it's not the end of the world if you don't do an exercise on a certain day, if it's intentional and you're trying to recover from something. So I don't necessarily mind that I like pushed yesterday till today, because I was going to be able to, one, sleep a lot more. So I actually got a ton of sleep last night and was able to take a lot of caffeine. I took a shower before I came out here. So like I was able to do like everything a lot better as far as like preparing to train. And I didn't have like the whole school day of, not even that it was like that stressful, but it's like, you know, you work a normal day. This is obviously different because this is the first thing that I'm kind of doing today besides eating breakfast. So get this done today. Hopefully it all goes to plan, but I'm not going to do muscle snatches. I am going to hit the bar and start doing 40 until my body is really warmed up, and then just keep adding the weight because I want to be expeditious in the session. But that's really about it for the preamble of this. It's going to be one of those videos where I have an intro, the lifting, and then the conclusion. But I'm hoping that I can get pretty physically warm, and I would imagine that as I train, probably towards the end of the session, I'll actually start to warm up pretty nicely, or at least like be comfortable out here once I really get moving. So hopefully my nose doesn't start draining too much because it honestly feels better right now. So hopefully I'm past it for the most part. And then by the end of the week, you know, most of my symptoms are cleared up. But cold medicine works great. So definitely going to keep utilizing that. But just try to, just like with a lot of things, you have a higher intensity when you feel the worst and you drop it down. when you feel a little bit better to, not be dependent on taking whatever the, the crap I got from Walmart. It was daytime and nighttime medicine, but it comes in like packets of 2 pills. So like taking both of those instead of taking both, like this morning I just took one. So like trying to wean off of it a little bit just to make sure like the symptoms are not unmanageable, because when my nose is draining, my sinuses are draining, certainly makes everything a pain. Same with like coughing and stuff. Obviously makes sleeping difficult with that. But anywho, I'll talk to you at the end of the training session. We get this work done, and yeah, talk to y'all in a minute. Well, as you saw with the snatches, I went a bit heavier than the 90 that was programmed. I counted 80 as my first working set, and I had the idea of potentially doing 110 for a double. I missed it twice on the first rep, so just didn't have it today as far as the speed and the strength for it. It kind of makes sense because I just don't feel very strong right now, which I think a lot of that is the morning and also the illness and whatnot. But the front squats I dropped way down because I haven't been doing reps with them, and I didn't want to be aggressive with them. And even like 70 felt heavy enough, and doing the sets of 5, definitely, I'm glad I stayed that light, just to kind of just continue to strengthen my mid back and make sure that I can hold that position for an extended period of time and nothing's going to spasm or cramp, because it's not a strength thing, because I can, I cleaned 160, so it's not like my back is fragile right now, but it doesn't have the ability to sustain a very upright position for a very long time or for heavy weights in longer sets. So I have to build that back, but I think, that's no issues with that. In fact, I felt absolutely nothing in my back, which is ideal. So obviously, you'll be able to increase from that the next time that I program this. I don't know if I have any later this week with them, but I didn't do the clean pulls and the push presses. I'm gonna definitely add the push presses to tomorrow's session because they're supposed to be 4 doubles at 100, and I think those will just go better if I'm at the gym another day of recovering from my illness. And then the clean pulls, part of me just wants to just get them done now. But at the same time, I don't know if there's much point. So what I actually think, I've kind of convinced myself, so I'll throw some clips. Actually, I'm not going to bother with the clips. What I'm actually going to do, I'll just tell you about it because it's not going to be that interesting to see, is I'm just going to do some like pendlay rows or like barbell rows, some sort of variation of that, just at the 70 kilos and just do a couple sets with that and call that my pulls for the day. Because I have pulls or I guess it could be tomorrow, depending on how I split my sessions up. But I have some heavy clean pulls later this week, and I'm not worried about missing some clean pull work. And I'd rather not do extra volume in that if my front squat is as low as it is right now for reps. So there's not a ton of, well, yeah, there is some utility in it. I just don't really, it's more just me being tired right now and not wanting to do it. But I'll do some rowing, and I think that will be a good thing to add to the end of the session. I'm not going to record it. You just have to believe me that I did it, but it's just going to be at the 70 kilos. So get some of that mid-back work in and just be on my way. But part of me was like, I could potentially come back tonight and do the stuff I didn't do this morning, but I'm not probably going to feel any better in the evening or really at night when I probably would start training at like 8 o'clock tonight. And it's going to be better to just push it till tomorrow. The push presses in particular to tomorrow, so I can make sure that I am able to put as much energy towards them as possible. So that is a big weakness of mine. But overall, you know, I'm happy that I got the training in. I was able to double 100, which I don't know if that's the PR for the morning, but it certainly is one of the heavier snatches I've done this early in the morning. Certainly for a long time, because I haven't trained this early since probably my competition, but that still was at like noon or whatever. But glad I got some training in, and it's one of those days where when I have conferences, like everything's kind of thrown out of whack as far as the routine goes. So if I get anything done, then it's productive, because most of the time, most years with these conference days, I just don't do any training, where I come out here at night and just do essentially the same thing I would have done, just like a really minimal workout. So glad I got something done. Glad I got a little productive work in. Would have really liked it to 110, but it is what it is. But yeah, I don't feel like I've taken 500 milligrams of caffeine, which tells me that I'm still have a bit of a cold. So hopefully that dissipates as the day goes. But get some of these rows done and get on our way. But if you made it this far, I appreciate it. I'll talk to you all in the next video, and hope you all have a great day. Peace.